You spend a lot of time organizing your network's annual maintenance plan. But how do you know if that plan is adding life to the health of your network, or if the years, the traffic, and the elements are winning the fight? The Remaining Service Life Calculator allows you to evaluate the impact of your annual plan to understand whether you're gaining ground or losing service life over time. It's also the first step to climbing out of the reactive maintenance hole. Before you begin, make sure to review the About page for examples of remaining service life calculations in action. The principle behind RSL is simple. It starts here. Every lane mile in your network has a limited amount of service life before failure. Based on that finite number of serviceable years, we understand that this mile of road will lose 1 lane mile year of life annually. So, a network with 500 total lane miles will lose 500 lane mile years of life every year. It stands to reason that network managers must contribute at least 500 lane mile years of life annually to ensure that the community is not losing life year over year. They must combat the forces of deterioration with at least an equal and opposite response. Let's put this to the test using the calculator on roadresource.org. I'm going to evaluate this year's proposed annual plan and then attempt to improve it where possible. Try this same approach for your annual planning. Start by entering the size of your network. Mine is 200 lane miles. Enter the average width of lanes in your network. Next, your total budget for this year. Make sure you're working with the correct units for your location. This year, my proposed annual plan consists of just a few treatments. First, I'm planning to remove and replace 2 miles of road. Input the treatment and the lane miles. Notice how the life extension and cost automatically populates. You can edit these figures to reflect expectations for your area. Most importantly, this calculator demonstrates the lane mile years from each project. In this case, I can expect a remove and replace project to last 25 years before failure. Multiply 25 years of service life times 2 miles of road, and I'm left with 50 added lane mile years from this project. That's the critical concept behind this exercise. We can calculate lane mile years by multiplying project size by the treatment life extension. Notice the cost of this project has influenced my remaining budget in the top right. I'm also planning to perform a major mill and fill for another 2 miles. That shows I'm adding 30 lane mile years with this intervention. Next, 2 miles of minor mill and fill. And finally, 8 miles of crack seal. Now, the calculator has totaled my figures, including added lane mile years. This annual plan only addresses 14 lane miles in my network. After accounting for the added service life of each treatment, I'm contributing 126 lane mile years to the life of my roads. Unfortunately, this doesn't quite add up. My network of 200 lane miles is still deteriorating faster than I'm able to intervene with this program. I'm left with a deficit of 74 lane mile years. If I continue performing annual treatment plans that end in a deficit, my network is destined to deteriorate faster and could get farther and farther from network gains in the future. But what if we made a few modifications? Let's take the same budget and reallocate it across different treatment types and lane miles. Here, I'm prioritizing recycling and preservation treatments over more costly reconstruction. This allows me to cover more ground and inject more service life with each intervention. With those changes, I'm able to address 54 lane miles, compared to the previous 14, and inject a whopping 285 lane mile years, all using the same budget. Now that's optimization. This year's small surplus of 85 lane mile years will mean a lot to the future of my network. Now, I'm injecting life into my pavements to tip the scales in favor of network level improvements. The only way pavement managers can climb out of a reactive maintenance cycle is to consistently prioritize adding life year over year. Slowly but surely, these positive trends will improve the health of your pavement and make better use of your resources. For a detailed demonstration or more information on pavement management techniques, visit the Contact Us page on roadresource.org.